Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Where are you guys at geographically?
We're out of Colorado, all over the state, really. We do like I live. Are you familiar? Where are you from?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay. So yeah, I'm from Southern Colorado. Our drummer, there he is.
Hey.
He's from down there too. But we work out of the Denver area. We own a piano moving company, so we just run around the whole state and even out of state, just moving pianos. So
just piano, nice.
Just pianos. That's all we do. Yeah, there's a baby grand wrapped up back there right now.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah, we deliver them every once in a while out of state. Like if we're on tour, we try to line things up, and then we can give folks a pretty good price if we're heading out of state anyways.
Right. Going out, right? That makes sense.
Yeah, so it kind of helps pay for gas if we can do that.
Hell yeah, especially nowadays, right?
Yeah, that's we don't even look at we don't really pay attention to gas prices because we have to work anyways.
Right.
It definitely at the end of the month it does affect things. So
are we cool if we jump in, or are you still pulling over?
Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about Grill Fest first, since that's how we got introduced. How did that come about?
So we played a battle of the bands. It was a competition for the Mile High Power Fest, and this would have been 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And John Yellen, the adjudicator, he was one of the judges, and we got along well. He liked us, and I guess he kind of liked the themes we do. And that so we were, I guess, in his mind, and he reached out to me about playing, and of course it would be hard for me to say no to a fest.
Hell yeah. Good for you. Have you ever been to it before, or this stuff?
No, first time. We were out in Salt Lake City on tour last year, and the scene seemed awesome out there. So it's kind of cool to be seeing some familiar faces, but we haven't been out to Grill Fest. I didn't even know about it. It seems pretty cool. It's right up metal, and there's medieval combat, and
yeah, I mean everything you need, all the elements of a perfect day or a weekend or whatever. Yeah,
it's excited for that. We've got 3 fests this year, and we've never played the fest before, so it's cool. We're excited to start.
Do you prepare differently for festivals, especially outdoor festivals?
We're troglodytes might be a little strong, but we're pretty simple. We just do the same thing no matter where we are. I'm not like a pedal board guy.
Right.
Like I just go straight to my amp, and our drummer's just the drums, bass is just the bass, and we're one vocal, like no effects, no backing tracks. So it's kind of, we're just anywhere. We kind of just do the same thing.
Okay. So you cool if we go a little deeper?
Sure. Yeah.
So your music leans heavily into the 90s melodic black and death metal. What specific elements from that era were sacred to you and had to come along And where did you deliberately break tradition to carve your own sound?
Well, um, that's like totally correct. Like, so obviously, like like all the old black metal bands are super cool. I'm personally really big on Immortal and Dissection. Um, but even more than that is actually old school Amon Amarth, like early Amon Amarth,
Yep.
which gets compared. It kind of has a little blackened feel going
Oh
on.
yeah.
So that is a larger influence on me than like when we play a show, everyone just thinks we're a black metal band, but then those with maybe we don't have a lot of music out, so like it's different when you're in a
Right.
live setting, digesting what's going on. But uh, we have a lot more under the layers. We've got a lot more like kind of like old school melodic death metal going on
Sure.
than people would think. Um, but in terms of like our sound, we're kind of weird. We've never like I've personally never learned a cover song.
Really?
Never, not once. No. I don't, I don't think my drummer has either.
Wow.
So we've kind of approached things trying to be different
Right.
while still, fitting into what people want out of, that this type of metal music.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's of course you can't escape influence. Like
Oh
it's there.
no. Right.
But
It creeps in
uh,
somewhere.
I feel like we've Keith and I we've been jamming for it's both of our first band, so we've been jamming for 10 years together,
Oh wow.
and the first probably 5 years was very uh figuring things out.
Sure.
um, and I'd say after COVID we've kind of locked in a little bit better, and having our own approach, our own sound is very important to us. I mean, I think it is to everybody, but
Sure.
that's it's we're always thinking about that. So
Okay.
if that's inadequate.
Yeah. So the battle metal narrative seems central to your identity. How much of the
Yeah.
storyline was pre-written versus just like recorded live and performed?
Yeah. So I write, you know, I haven't finished a book, so it's a little presumptuous of me to say that I've written a book, but I've had multiple over 100,000 word drafts
You
written that
put
I
lots of
never.
words to page, lots of pages.
Yeah. So every album is, and I've scaled things down a little bit. I was going a little bit over overshooting like a story for a single album in the past. So now I'm trying to have the story for album one be like under 100,000 words. So it's, still a novel, but maybe closer to novella territory. So every album's its own story, kind of an anthology, if you will, within my fantasy world. Um, dark fantasy. It's like, you know, grim and brutal stuff, but
But in that
it,
context, coming from a story that you got so much invested in, I mean, you really know whatever character you're playing in the storyline, right?
yeah,
In the music.
yeah. So when we do live, I approach it more like I'm a storyteller from the world. I'm telling we're around the campfire or whatever, and
Right.
we're performing a story for you, kind of like some bardic kind of, if you want to be a modern day metal bard, if you will. Uh, but yeah, so the story is completely like written. The current, like, we're 4 songs deep into recording our first album, and the whole plot and everything is finished. I'm right now in my first draft. I'm about halfway done with the novel. So I'm hoping that by the time we release the album mid next year, I'll have the novel to match it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so if when I'm up there telling the story, it's all completely rehearsed. I mean, everything's tuned in. It's
Right.
the an interesting little side bit though. The story that I tell live is actually different than the novel. Um, that it's
Like
almost,
with just a different ending, or like it's a
yeah,
different
yeah.
story.
Well, look, it's kind of like if you turned a book into a screenplay. Like you have to change the flow of it so it's a little more concise and a little more exciting, and because I only get like a minute in between songs to tell what's going on.
How
So
does the eventuality of your writing turning into a song affect your actual writing?
so um that's yeah, some people when they do a concept album, I want to say like the more typical approach is they have a story written and then they maybe write music to match that.
Right.
I don't necessarily do that. I have a bunch of different story ideas within my fantasy world, and for us, we want like the band is to make as good of metal music as we can. That's the main goal of the band.
Right.
My personal story writing is separate from that. So we have so many songs. Like it's ridiculous
Right.
how many like proto songs we have like in a riff library essentially. So when I'm constructing the album, I go through, I don't know, it's something like 1,200 or something right now. So
Wow.
it's been days, and I just went through this for album two. I went through and I listened to everything, and I kind of got a feel. I had album one. We figured out what songs we wanted first, and then I kind of went through my stories and figured out what would match them best. And then for this one, I kind of had an idea for a story that I wanted to fit the songs to,
Oh, wow.
but we're not like writing a song to fit into the story. I just go through our whole library.
Right.
I listen and I'm like, oh, this little song feels like this part of the story, or maybe it's just I like that song so much that I'm like, I'll make it work. Like it'll fit in there, and that's usually how it is. It's usually the best songs we have to offer are what are going to go on the album, and then I'm going to tweak how I need to make it fit in there to because we want the songs to be punchy, and you
Sure.
can you can really go on a space cruise trying to write instrumentally tell a story. You can really write a long
Oh, yeah.
piece of instrumentation, and we're right now that's not what we're going for. We're kind of going for punchy metal attack.
Okay. So, I mean, I know you're aware, but like the traditional black metal artists from Finland, Norway, whatever, they have a huge connection to nature and, not afraid to share it with, the fans, how it influences them. How does being from Colorado, which I think most people consider sort of rural and outdoorsy, how does that affect does it affect your music in sort of the same way, your environment there?
Yeah, so that's a big, that is a big deal. So I'm from a town of 150 people.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so it's a really small, tiny place. Um, I still live there. I years ago I came up to Denver to start a business and start a band, but I live about 2.5 hours south of Denver. So and it's up in the mountains. It's the typical like what you'd want from a Colorado story. It's like a tiny
Yeah.
little mountain town. Um, but so I grew up, every day going out in the national forest. My house was just right there. Um, and I could just go walk right out there. And I was definitely from a young age swinging swords and being a Lord of the Rings nerd out in the woods, and coming up with so that was a huge factor in my fantasy writing, want to be an author kind of thing.
Right.
So for the themes of our band, that was a huge influence. In terms of like the actual music being influenced by nature, that's a little far, where it's more of we're a little bit more about like
The punch.
paddle,
Right. Right.
punchy, but like we're not doing any, atmospheric like
Right.
emotive, like, maybe you could listen to us while you're walking out in the woods and it would be cool, but we're not that kind of black metal.
Okay. One more. It's a little bit deeper if you're still cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we've got time. So
I'm going to probably mispronounce the name, and I'm going to try if Darconigans. Is that right?
yeah, Darconigan.
Okay, Darconigan. If Darconigan's story is rooted in battle and myth, what does victory actually mean in your universe?
Yeah, so each story is a little bit different. I draw a lot of influence from like the Malazan Book of the Fallen, or the first Law trilogy, or Song of Ice and Fire is more commonly known. But these kind of like grimdark, they're called. So it's rare for them to have like a Dio knight riding a unicorn rainbow thing.
Right.
It's rare for the story to end very happily. Um, it's usually bittersweet, and victory comes at great cost. Usually victory is achieved for our protagonist, but it's you know, it, I don't I don't think I'll ever write a story to where it's like I love Lord of the Rings. It's
Right.
a masterpiece, but it's a little happy. Like if it's not like maybe too many of the characters make it out alive
Okay.
for what I would be doing.
So does embodying these characters and narratives on stage change who you are off stage?
No. So and again, I'm kind of telling their story. So like perhaps when I'm on stage, I'm a narrator, so I am, a little different than I don't just walk around everywhere like we have come down from the
Right.
mountain. Like it's, I don't but I do have a little bit of a, stage character, if you will,
Sure.
that I've kind of fallen into just naturally. But yeah, the actual characters, I'm really telling their story versus me taking on their point of view.
Gotcha. So Darconigan Grill Fest, we talked about. What's after that? You guys got anything else for the summer?
Uh, so yeah, we're playing. I, it with these fests, it's always kind of hard. Like announcement wise, you're like not supposed to announce
Right.
things, but I think it's okay because so we did the Battle of the Bands in 2024, and we tied for second that year. So we didn't get on for 2025.
Right.
But then last year we did the Battle of the Bands again, and then we won. So with that, we get to play the Mile High Power Fest this year. Then after that, we're working on playing a fest down in New Mexico, but that's not confirmed yet. So three, hoping to do three fests,
Nice.
including Grill Fest. And then we've got one music video that we're sitting on releasing. So that'll be coming later in the year to promote our album.
Right.
And we want to shoot another one into this year. So it's after the fest, we don't really want to do any more shows. I mean, of course, if something good comes up, we'll jump
Right.
on it. But it's really just recording, getting the album done, and then shooting one more music video just so we have some content to throw out.
Okay. And if anybody watching wants to get in contact with you, check you guys out, can you give us all your socials and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just Darconigan, Darconigan. It's
Okay.
you know, there's no K.
Awesome. That's all I had. I hope that wasn't too bad.
No, it was great. Yeah, I'm always able to fit little things like this in, because
Yeah.
ultimately I'm the master of my own schedule, but
Right.
I'm a cruel, sadistic.
No, but you turned this one around pretty quick. I think we did this in what, like a 4-day notice or something. So
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's
yeah.
I just there's always a lot. I don't want to be the guy who says he has too much going on because everybody knows that guy and they're annoying.
Right.
But I'm totally the guy who has too much going on.
Yeah, I get you. Anyway, we made it work. I'll have it live shortly and I'll send you
Yeah,
a copy,
no,
tag you, whatever.
no, that's awesome. Thank you, man. This was our first like Zoomy interview, so super appreciate it. I was going
Since
through all your
Yeah, since COVID, this has sort of become the go-to. I always prefer to do them in person. And
yeah.
when we get
It's
shows here, a lot of them have, subsided, but when we get shows, I do them in person. But this is
I mean, and this is cool. You get to, it's easier to schedule. I mean, you've got a ton. I was looking at your podcast. You got a ton of pretty big name folks
Yeah,
on
well,
there. So
we do
that's
pretty
cool.
good. I mean, we're sitting at about 55,000 viewers a month, which,
Yeah, that's
for
awesome.
what we're doing is pretty good. I'll take it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Good job. That's great. So we're super happy to be a little
I have a good
piece of
time.
it.
I
And
want to see how far we can take it. I'm all in. So
yeah, yeah. Well, or maybe in the future we'll have